I'd like to bring this meeting to order. The Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees meeting of February 24th, 2025. Clerk Kornecki, please call the roll.
Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Trustee Cordova.
Here.
Trustee Corkery.
Here.
Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar.
Here.
Trustee Patrick.
Here.
President Kazone.
Here. And will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to make the decisions that will affect the staff, directors, and the residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen. We move to item 3, amendments to the agenda. Do we have any proposed amendments? Seeing none. Public comments on agenda items?
I have no one signed up.
Okay. Anyone public comments on agenda items?
Good evening. Cheryl Tucker. I actually have two concerns tonight, 10A and 13A. Seeing I have two concerns and I only have 3 minutes to relay them to you, I will get right to the point. 9 months ago, I brought up my concerns about the deli needing a liquor license. At the time, I was told by the owners they needed a liquor license to sell beer and wine for the convenience of their customers for one-stop shopping, to pick up sandwiches and drinks on their way home. Since that time, the board has approved 8 liquor licenses in 2024 and made a statement that in 2025, they were going to look a little closer into how and who gets liquor licenses in Villa Park. When you made that statement, I didn't realize that you meant that you were planning on letting more businesses in town sell more liquor. Here we are today, a business supposed to be a deli, who wants to be a bar that sells sandwiches and has the ability to sell liquor like a liquor store. As a board, I hope you seriously consider the precedents you're setting here in 2025. If you approve this tonight, where you will be going from there on with all the liquor licenses in 2025. On my second concern, I'm trying to understand why the village feels it's in the best interest to spend $143,000, $410 for an engineering service for the museum parking lot. The lot that is only full when there is events at the museum or during the summer when the concerts were going on at Cortese Park. It used to be for the overflow parking for Fuel and Crumb during the summer, but now that business has been sold. As for the Park Boulevard spaces, even trustee Kozar had mentioned that they were lack of use in front of the parking areas in front of his house. Now I'm wondering if the park area, Park Boulevard parking spots that we're speaking of that need change, what change is going on? Or what new plans are being made for the museum and the village area near Park and Central? That we're going to need better parking, better ways to get onto the Prairie Path, which is not ours anyway. We don't own the Prairie Path. And why we need the better connection from Park to Central. What's going on in that area that we don't know about, that the improvement of the museum and that area near Park and Central need better parking?
Okay, anyone else? Public comments on agenda items? Okay, move on to item 5, public comments on non-agenda items. Anyone signed up? Okay, anyone public comments on non-agenda items?
Cheryl Tucker. I just want to make sure that the people of Villa Park are aware that our Park and Rec Commission meeting has moved to March 4th due to the candidate forum on March 11. We moved our meeting up a week to the thing, and that we also had a discussion, if you didn't miss it, on the idea of the pools being shovel-ready. We had a discussion on that, on what the discussion was that the village was going forward, and how that was not in the plans that we know of for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay, no proclamations, no presentations, and no appointments. Item 9 is our consent agenda. Bill listings for the weeks of February 10th, 2025, in the amount of $148,317.49, and February 18th, 2025, in the amount of $1,118,784.34. Item B, approval of the minutes of the Committee of the Whole and the Village Board of Trustees meetings held on February 10th, 2025. And we have a motion for the consent agenda. Trustee Corkery, we have a second. Trustee Alfano?
Second.
Questions, comments? Okay, seeing none. Clerk Reneke, please.
Okay, trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Cordova,
Yes.
trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Kumar, excuse me, trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Alfano, and
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, item 10A is an ordinance for first reading. It's an ordinance amending Section 313A in order to increase the Class AA license by 1 and reduce the Class AAA license by 1. Manager Hart.
This ordinance increases by 1 the number of AA or Tavern Unlimited licenses and simultaneously decreases by 1 the number of AAA Tavern Beer and Wine Only licenses. The business at 357 South Ardmore, Mortadelli, currently holds a Class AAA liquor license, which allows sale of beer and wine only for consumption on premise and retail of original package sales. The owner has requested a change to Class AA license for the sale of alcoholic liquors for consumption on premises and the sale of alcoholic liquors at retail in original packages for consumption off premises. There are currently no Class AA liquor licenses available. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance.
Thank you. Okay, this is first reading unless someone wants to waive it.
Yep, I'll
Trust-
waive, make a motion to waive the first reading.
Okay, we have a motion to waive this first reading. Do we have a second on that? Trustee Corkery? Okay, questions, comments? Okay, Clerk Reneke, motion
I have
to,
a
oh,
comment.
sure, go ahead.
As much as I'd like to see you all get your liquor license, I think that waiving the first reading kind of rushes it, and I think there should be some commentary, because we've had some questions and issues and things brought up about liquor license and whatnot. So I would like to keep this as the first reading and then make our decision at the next reading. But I would like you to have the opportunity to come up and speak today about your liquor license, because this is the first we're hearing of it. I understand that you've had a liquor license already, and I think I recused myself when that came up the first time, but I definitely supported it. So, yes, I'm not in favor of skipping the first reading.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Trustee Cordova?
This is just from moving, they already have their liquor license, and it's just to make alcoholic beverages there, right? And there's
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no
correct.
change. So it's,
Yeah, it's basically going from beer and wine to a full
Right.
package, yeah. Okay. Trustee Alfano?
So I am also not in favor right now for waiving the first reading, or the second reading rather, but I do want to clarify, because this isn't the first time that I've heard about it, but I am concerned that I did hear about it. The first time I did hear about it was from a different petitioner. So I do want to have some time for residents to really kind of get an idea and an understanding, and hear from business owners about what the intent is from the deli, because I know we did hear a public comment about, well, it's just a deli. I'm not sure that I agree that it's just a deli, because I think that you serve more than just sandwiches, and I think it's delicious. But I think that it's I'd like to know what the vision is, and I'd like for other people to hear that too. That's my thought.
Okay. Anyone else? Trustee Kumar?
I'm not, I don't want to necessarily delay the choice to a second reading. I'm fine with voting on this now. However, I do agree with that I want to hear why you want this license change, because there are questions and concerns we've had among the village that involve, licenses and what we use them for versus what we don't use them for. So I just want a clear-cut perspective. Is it possible to get the owners to speak?
Okay, well, let's vote on the motion, and then at that point, then we can bring them up for the actual ordinance.
Okay.
Trustee Patrick?
Thank you. I'd just like to reiterate, there's a reason why we have a first and a second reading. And that is in place for this reason in particular, is that it gives our residents, it gives the board time to ask questions and look into things. And since we have had recent issues regarding liquor licensing, I think it's important that we take our time and follow the process and follow a second reading next meeting.
Okay. Okay, anyone else? Hey, Clerk Konecki. This is to waive the first reading on the ordinance.
Right. Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
No.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
No.
Trustee Patrick?
No.
President Kazal?
I'll vote yes on that. I know they would like to get this thing squared away as soon as possible. Okay, so we're waiving the first reading, so we can have a motion for the ordinance, item 10A. Do we have a motion for that? Trustee Corkery? You have a second? Trustee or
Go ahead.
Trustee Cordova? Okay, questions, comments? Trustee Patrick?
I'd like the opportunity for the business to come up and speak to their intentions.
Sure. Aaron, you want to come up?
Hi, Mary Ann DeLulio. So I first like to thank our community. Villa Park has been amazing with Mortadelli, and it's been just so exciting what's been happening from the day we opened until now. We have actually expanded Mortadelli. So we were fortunate enough that our neighbor moved out and we opened up our business and made it larger. So we have a full bar in Mortadelli, as well as our deli sandwiches, and like you said, we do serve more than sub sandwiches. So we have, meals that people come in and eat. We have drawn in so many people from different communities into Villa Park with our deli, just from exposure on social media, and the feedback has been amazing. They are so excited that we were able to expand Mortadelli and put a bar in there. So right now, we have a liquor license, and is that our main focus? No, to be honest with you, we don't sell a lot of liquor in, Mortadelli right now. However, putting a bar in our business, you want to have a full pour, because all of our community that comes in, everybody that comes in, they ask us, can we come in on date night and sit next door and have a, old fashioned, or even the seltzers, some of them have tequila in them. You can't serve those unless you have a full pour. So we currently have a liquor license. However, if you want to sit and have dinner and have, you're on a date night and you want to have an old fashioned or you want to have a vodka and soda, we can't serve that right now because we only have beer and wine. So it is something that everybody that comes in, they ask us about it. So it's just something that we need to, go ahead.
I have a
Hang
question.
on. You were done?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically where we're at with, the whole reason why we're asking to get a full pour instead of just have our beer and wine.
Okay, Trustee Kumar.
One of the concerns that a lot of our citizens have is a lot of times with this full pour comes gaming, which is something that I know many of our citizens are not interested in. And I think that is the major concern, and that might have been even the concern that led many of the people to ask for a second reading on this board. It's been coming up, quite frankly, and my personal opinion, that aspect of it is oftentimes crowding out good business, and is crowding out good restaurant, choice. You have a very unique product, and we love the product, and, we want it to grow. So that concern still remains, because a lot of times with this particular license, I know you have a license already that you could automatically, I think, still put gaming in. So it doesn't change that fact. But as we are looking more carefully at this, that is a concern that has kind of hit this board hard recently, and we made decisions to kind of look carefully into that aspect of things. So, are you in any way planning to have gaming at your facility? I'm just going to ask outright.
So that is something that is something that is not against our license as of right now. So I could have put gaming into our business a long time ago, but that was, that's not just like my whole objective here. But being that I have that license now, it is something that I am considering doing. However, I have that license already as I stand where I'm at right now. So I wasn't trying to open a business just to put gaming. That is not like my whole. We're a family. We're a restaurant. We have our customers come in and sit in there for hours. However, we need more space for our customers to sit down and congregate together, go on date nights, bring in friends, have a drink. We have people that want to have business meetings. We're also going to use it for rental space for, parties, et cetera, that kind of thing. However, I don't feel that the gaming is an issue, because right now the liquor license that I hold is approved for gaming. So I don't think that would make a difference.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone else? Trustee Alfano.
My question might be for Director Guerra, or I'm sorry, not Guerra, McLaughlin, sorry. Do we have an alternative license to offer that would not come with gaming, but does have full pour?
Yes, with the creation of the Quad A, that would be available.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, if you recall, was not available when they first got their license.
Thank you.
Trustee Kozar.
I would like to go to Mortadelli's and have a drink. So I'm all for the liquor license. I have no problem with that. And I think, it's good business, and you should be able to sell wine or, packaged goods, packaged liquors. When somebody comes in, they get dinner, they get alcohol to bring home. No problem with that at all. What I'm hearing out there is that so many people in the community don't want more gaming. I think we've gone overboard with the gaming. And that's my only issue here. If you guys were applying for the Quad A or Quad E license, that was just packaged liquors, the ability to have a full-service bar in the property, I would have no problem. I would have seconded the motion for the first reading, or to waive the reading. And, I would line up and hopefully be one of your first customers when you do that. I'm glad that you're expanding. I think you have a great product. If anybody's watching this for the first time and hasn't been in by you guys, they definitely should, because everything there is top-notch. And it's a nice, accoutrement to your meal, is to be able to have a drink. I think the first time you guys were up here, I think I recused myself because I had a liquor license. I owned Fuel, and that had a gaming license that was built into it. But my own business model, and I'm not projecting that on you guys, was I didn't have gaming because it just wasn't what I wanted to have there. And at the time that I got my license, there wasn't a triple E or a Quad E that was available. So a couple of things that we're looking into, and I'm going to address this in new business. Well, we've actually talked about it in previous meetings, is to kind of bifurcate these licenses and have a quad E at a low cost, and then perhaps a triple E or a double E or whatever the license is that allows you to have liquor and gaming, so that there would be a premium cost to having gaming. We didn't push that issue last year, right at the end of the year when it was first addressed, because everybody was renewing their license, and it was too much and too quick at the same time, and we wanted to maybe roll something out after the election to discuss two different types of license, one with and one without gaming, and the one with gaming would be for a considerable premium on top of that. So my only concern at this moment, right now, is the gaming aspect of it. So.
I guess where I don't understand why the gaming is such an issue I understand, believe me, I hear all about it I know what's been going on, you hear about it, you read about it, but I have my gaming license right now currently, so it's not like I'm asking for a gaming license. Do you know what I'm saying? I already have a liquor license that holds gaming in it, so that's where I'm not applying for that type of license with gaming. I'm already holding that license, so that's
Sure.
where I'm just looking for a full pour so that I can accommodate, like you said, you come in, you want to have an old fashioned or a vodka soda.
Right.
I can't serve that to you at my bar. I can only serve beer and wine. So typically when you have a bar, you have full pour, you have hard liquor. So that's why, even like I said, there's seltzers that have tequila in them or vodka in them. I can't serve those because, there's certain ones you can, certain that you can, because the fact that they have hard liquor in them.
But I have no problem with that, and I
Yeah.
want you to have a full pour license. I absolutely do. Make no mistake on that.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do a quad E?
Well, I'm not going to go to a quad E and give up my gaming license, especially with all the stuff that's going on right now with everything with the liquor license and all that. And because I said I'm not completely saying I'm not going to do gaming, but if I was just solely wanting gaming, Mortadelli's been open for a year almost. That's where I would have went with it. But that's not where my head is focused. I'm focused on having full pour again because, like I said, we have a bar now and we didn't know we were going to be able to expand. Like I said, it was fortunate enough that next door we were able to take it over and open up Mortadelli and make it a lot larger.
And I think it's great that you're expanding. I mean,
Yeah.
that shows that you're doing well.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
But we have other issues that we as a board need to deal with, like in terms of signage. All the neon signs that are slots,
I think are
game here.
ridiculous.
Right.
Yes, I would, even if that's my choice to have gaming, which I already have it in my license, I would never put signs like that up. In fact, Mortadelli still does not have a sign in front of it because I was told by the village when I asked and came in for a permit that we were no longer allowed to put a sign on the front of our building. And I'm like, well, how many people don't even know Mortadelli still exists because there's not a sign outside, which how is a business supposed to alert anybody without a sign? You know what I mean? So we've been working off of minimal social media. We've had a few famous people, Jeff Amaro, come in and he brought in a lot of business to us. Everybody in our village and everybody that has came from other communities, word of mouth. However, there's so many people that drive down Ardmore every single day and we have no sign. And I was told we could not put a sign up. However, we had a sign originally when we rented our space on the building and we didn't think it looked nice. So we took it down. And I'm pretty sure that everybody can agree that we've made Mortadelli look aesthetically great in our community. And I think it's helped our community. However, without a sign, that's hard. So I did get a phone call back that we can now put, it's a very minimal sign with a lot of restrictions. And that sign that I had up, I could have just slid a new thing in there and had Mortadelli across there, but I don't think it would have looked as nice as like a gold-plated Mortadelli with it backlit. So, I had to kind of go back and forth with that. And I did get the okay to be able to put a sign up, but slot signs and that kind of stuff, I'm sure you can look at Mortadelli and tell that that is something I would never do, one. And two, I have all residents around me, so I don't think that would be fair to residents, because I live right out of the border of Villa Park on Madison, and if I had to look at slot signs or anything flashing, I would be mad, because I wouldn't like that. That's just, it's not where you don't want to live a residence and have to look at that, nor do I want that in my community. So I would never do that, ever.
And I think you're a good, responsible business owner. I absolutely do. I feel that and this is part of the reason why I didn't want to waive the first reading, is because I'd like to talk to Director McLaughlin, and I'd like to, maybe have further conversation with the board on how we can create this situation where somebody's getting a full pour, and maybe they do have gaming, or we address the number of licenses in town, and we cap it, and we say, okay, we're only going to allow X amount of gaming in town. My concern is that we allow you to do it, and I think you run a very classy business. I mean, every time I go by, it looks good. But you're the exception, not the rule necessarily. And we need to legislate for sometimes the lowest common denominator to make sure that, just because you're going to be responsible, somebody else won't. And then somebody else comes up to us and says, well, if she got one, why can't we have one? So that's my dilemma up here.
I get what you're saying. I understand that. Just like I said about the signs, and I would never do that, and it looks terrible. I agree with you. However, I can do that right now if I wanted to. So I'm not asking for that. I could do that right now, following the rules of whatever they are. I don't even know with putting those signs in the windows, because I would never do it. So I've never even inquired to find out, if I have gaming here, can I put those flashing lights? The only thing I've ever inquired about were the signs for Mortadelli, so that I can advertise where my business was. However, it's very strict on the rules for the signs for your business. I don't know what they are for those flashing lights and all that stuff, because I've never inquired, because I would never do it. But if I want to have gaming right now, I can have it. So that's why I don't even think gaming is like a discussion as to where I'm going with it.
Could you though? Do you have the space inside your existing building to have the gaming, and
Yes,
you could have gaming machines? You've got
Yes.
enough room in there?
absolutely, yes.
And
I
you
mean,
don't-
you have to, it depends on how you work your whole setup, you know what I mean? So I didn't, when I got my license and my stuff, I wasn't like, oh, I got machines, I want to get machines. So I didn't work anything where I had this, I wanted people to sit down and eat and enjoy and hang out and sit and talk. I have customers that come in and sit there for literally a couple hours a day sometimes. So putting gaming in wasn't what my objective was when I, started Mortadelli.
And now that you have a new address, because you took over that other space, you don't need a liquor license in that address?
We don't have a new address. It's 357 South Ardmore. We are one business. We had to go through the village and open up our business walls. We had to put, open up, we had a brick wall in between us. We had to have professionals come in and put in everything that the village required in order to make this one building, or one space. We are one space.
So right now you can serve beer and wine in your
Correct.
addition?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, once it's all finalized.
You have occupancy, of
Yes,
course.
exactly.
Well,
You
yeah,
can't
that's
just-
what I meant.
Yes.
Okay.
When do you anticipate having occupancy?
Within the next couple weeks. It takes time. I mean, you have people come out and do things, and
Absolutely,
then
right.
something else comes up. I mean, we're just maybe a week away of calling out for, our finals on things, and then
So if you had-
hopefully soon, because we're trying to, it's a lot, trying to, pay what you're paying and not having, able to fill it with, your customers,
So if you had your license today, you still wouldn't be able to utilize it in that space for probably a couple weeks anyway, which, as I see it, makes the waiving
Well,
of
I
the
can
first
serve
reading
in
moot.
I can serve in my business now if I was approved today.
In the other section of the business.
It's one business. I could serve, yes, correct. So I could serve, yeah, I could start serving right away.
Okay. Trustee Corkery?
So you don't have any intention of putting gaming machines in?
No, I did not say I don't have any intentions.
See, if that's the issue then, because we're asking, or at least we're discussing the possibility of pursuing a license that allows for the pours you want and does not allow gaming, and you don't want to do that.
Right, I said I wasn't going to give up my license that I have now, because I said I'm not saying I'm not going to put gaming. However, I'm not gonna,
So I can't speak for the rest of the board, but speaking on behalf of myself, I consider the number of licenses we granted with gaming to be a mistake. And I voted for a lot of those, and I'd say that was a mistake. But the last time this came before the board, I said I was not interested in any more gaming licenses. And I apologize, because I know I spoke to Nick about this earlier, and I said something else. I misunderstood the question at hand. But the fact remains, I, as a trustee, do not want to see any more gaming in Villa Park. You're asking for a new gaming license. I do not want to.
I'm not
I know
asking
you
for
already
new
have
gaming.
one.
I have gaming, so that's why I keep saying.
But you're
I-
asking for a different gaming license.
Well, I'm just asking for a full pour because I want to be able to serve.
With gaming.
Well, yes, with gaming, but right now I have gaming, so.
I'm happy to grant a full
Same
pour
thing.
without gaming.
I'm not asking for you guys to give me gaming because I already have it.
Right.
I'm asking for have a full pour. Again, you know why. I don't want to have to take up all your time exactly why, but I already have a gaming license, so I'm not asking for gaming.
Yes, I believe there's too many gaming licenses. I know this would be adding, or it wouldn't be adding one because we'd be subtracting one, but it is a
Right,
new
so it's-
gaming license.
But, okay, but I already.
It's not. She has a gaming license right now. Mm-hmm. And so we're just asking to increase it to a full pour.
And she could instead go to full pour with no gaming.
Correct.
I would like to encourage her.
And
to
she
do
could,
that.
and she could go to beer and wine with no gaming, but if she already has it, if it's already there, she could still open up and have gaming. So it's the
understand
idea behind whether we want to allow her to fulfill the bar area as she's trying to do, like she says, have date night, come over, have a Manhattan, have a old-fashioned.
Right.
Well, I understand that.
But instead of just having a glass of wine. But she could still do that. You could still come in and have a glass of wine and still have gaming.
She wants to leave the door open for gaming. I don't. That is.
But it's open, the door's open.
She wants to
It's
leave
a-
it open. I do not want to leave it open. I understand the issue. It's just, it's something I said I wasn't interested in. There's an alternate route to pursue.
Okay. Trustee Kumar.
I want to ask Mark about the sign issue she's discussing, because I think that for me is something that I can definitely corroborate, that signage is important for a business, and I would consider it, first of all, dealing with that signage issue, because what is the issue at hand here? I'm not sure. She's made a statement. Please clarify.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this particular property is very problematic to sign based on the zoning ordinance. First off, anything that faces a residential district, which would be to the south, you can't have any wall signs. So that entire wall on Highland is unavailable for signage. So that means the only wall signage that we could do would be only facing Ardmore. The property is actually at a 0 lot line. And then by attaching anything to that exterior wall is therefore encroaching into the right-of-way. So only would a window sign be allowed. And that's where we got to what we couldn't allow. Non-conforming box sign was on the property, and that's what she was talking about earlier, that the panel could have been swapped in and out, because we don't make non-conforming signs come down, we don't force that. It could have been swapped out, but that had already happened before we got involved with laying out all the options.
Okay, is there a possibility of a variance given all these considerations?
So because the zoning ordinance only regulates to the lot line, there isn't, because now it's an encroachment in the right-of-way. So it's more of like some sort of license agreement, but we don't usually issue those when you have power lines. Conflicting.
I
So-
didn't mean to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
okay.
I did receive an email that I have in writing, though, after I was told that there could be no sign on the front of the building, that it had to be within the windows, the 25%. I did receive an email, I forgot exactly who it was from, I want to say Michelle, but I might be incorrect, stating that they would allow a sign within, she put everything in there, and also gooseneck lights above it.
Okay.
So I guess they did go back. What she said is they realized that it was ridiculous, I guess, basically, that we're a business and how are we going to advertise that we're there? And they made some type of exceptions, and I saved the email, so I do have it. However, I haven't gotten into that yet because that's, obviously another expense. But right now, I do have that in an email. I could forward that over to you so you can see it if you need it, but it was just an exception, I guess, that they were making. But it is only on Ardmore, not off of Highland. So I don't know if that's,
Trustee Kozar.
Did anybody tell you that you would be assured or you would get your full pour license with the gaming attached to it?
no,
Nobody on the board said that?
no.
Okay. We had issues last time with 24 East St. Charles, that's why I asked.
No, nobody's ever told me that.
Did you, when you took over the other portion, I don't recall you guys coming in front of the board and talking to the board about how we would feel about expanding that license or changing it. Did it, was that the case, or?
What do you mean when we took it over?
Yeah, Mark?
Yeah, that's handled at the staff level. Once the license is issued, then there is, as long as it's the same unit, which is what she was speaking to, opening up the wall, having an expansion of the same unit, a new license is not required.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess I was just thinking, so, to your point, I mean, with the new opening, they can still spill over and serve their beer and wine, so they wouldn't have to. It's not like a new license where you
Correct.
come in and say,
Yep.
I've got this idea, I want to invest some money.
Right.
How do you feel about it?
Correct.
Because that goes to that 90-day rule that we've discussed several times.
Yep.
So, wouldn't apply here.
It
Okay,
would not
thanks.
because she already held it, correct?
Yeah, that's fair. Thanks for clarifying that.
You're welcome. To clarify, if it was going to be an independent and just happened to be next door, that would require a new license.
Right.
But it's open, kind of like a vanilla box when you're in a shopping center, you
Right.
take the one next door, we treated it the same exact way as that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. Mortadelli, holy cow, Villa Park. If you haven't stopped in there yet, Marianne makes a killer meatball sub. It is to die for. It's delicious. It's great. I totally support your business. I have from the beginning. You guys, I think we need in Villa Park more businesses like yours. Absolutely. You gave me a tour. You gave me a tour of the extension as well. I've highlighted you in my monthly newsletter. That's how excited I am about you guys, and I really want to support this. I have no problem necessarily with giving you a full pour license. I do, however, have concerns about gaming. Gaming, it's not the gaming issue. It's more or less the signage for me as well. So I'm glad that Director McLaughlin was able to speak to that a little bit. But one of the things that I do a lot is I get out and I talk with our residents, especially now during campaign season. We talk to a lot of people out there, and the biggest theme out there is the gaming and how it looks. I don't think it's necessarily the gaming itself. I think it's more or less how it looks, all right? I think it's important that this board discusses this a little bit more in depth, and we also give our residents a little bit more time to talk about this. Like I said, I support this 100%. Right now, the way it is, though, I'm not sure if we can pass it tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to have those 4 votes, and I don't want it to get to that point because I want you to have this. So what I'm going to ask is that if it's not a pressing issue, like what Trustee Kozar was saying, if you're not going to even need it for a couple of weeks, let's just come to the conclusion, let's table this to the next meeting in 2 weeks. That gives us residents time to come to us with questions and concerns. That also gives the board to talk with each other about these licenses. And yes, we can table this to 2 weeks out for a second reading. Right now, I don't want gaming either, but I haven't had the opportunity to talk to you like this or to talk to my residents, or to talk to the board. If I have to vote right now, I would say no, but I don't want to do that.
Well, no,
I want to
so
give you
I
the
just-
opportunity to have this business, so
And I understand
I
what
think
you're
we need to
saying, but
table it.
when you had came in and we did, you and I actually did discuss all this.
yeah.
We had a meeting at the deli discussing, everything. And at that time, you and I were talking, I told you that, well, first and foremost, again, discussing the gaming, I already have gaming. So
Yeah.
that's where, like, that I feel like isn't, like, I have it
Yeah.
already. So it's not that. I could have whatever signs Villa Park allows for flashing or whatever it is in my windows as of right now. I would, again, never do that because it looks tacky, and you and I discussed
Right.
that. And that's not where I was going with it. However, I feel that if you and I had talked about the residents with, it's not actually the gaming, it's the signs in the windows that look tacky, that kind of stuff, whatever it is. I feel like that's more of an ordinance that they need to put rules and regulations on for signage, as they did my Mortadelli sign. Because I think having a sign out for Mortadelli is fine, but flashing signs are not. But I feel like that's something that has to be handled is in whatever department that is with Mark, is making rules as to what kind of lights and what kind of signs can be in the windows. However, gaming, I don't feel like is an issue because I already have it. I'm not asking for gaming. I'm just asking for me to be able to pour a vodka and soda to my customers when
Yeah.
they're sitting at my bar.
Well, and I completely understand it, and I appreciate the conversations that we had there. I think we really, understood each other's business, and that's why I support you so much. And that's why I want you to have this full pour. But that was my opinion, was that it's the signage.
Oh, I thought
Okay?
you said that
No,
was feedback.
that's
that you were
my
getting.
opinion.
Yeah, because we were on the same page with that. I said
I
that.
really don't, when it comes to gaming, I really could care less what the business does itself that way. I
Right.
care about what my residents are telling me, and the residents are telling me signage, but not all residents.
Well, yeah, that's what
So,
I said. We discussed the
we
residents.
we do have major opportunity here as a board to come together and to kind of fine tune this. We really do, and we have learned from the past, especially with what Trustee Kozar was talking about with the Lena's Lounge on St. Charles Road. This is something that we need to get a hold of, and this is something that our residents have been very vocal about, and this is something that, besides what I want, I have to listen to the residents as well. And I want you to have that pour liquor license, but I think the best thing to do right now is just to table it for 2 weeks and come back and then approve it. I think that would be enough time for residents to give us any feedback. We could have enough questions to ask Director McLaughlin. And again, he was kind enough to tell us about the signage and things like that. But I need to be able to go back to those residents and explain that to them. They need that time, and that's what I'm asking you
I
for.
already have it.
But what I'm saying
That's
is,
where maybe I'm not understanding, because
No, no.
I already have it. So to go back and talk to the residents, I'm just saying, I already have my gaming license. So that's where I'm just kind of not seeing, by talking to the residents about it, I already have it. I'm not asking for gaming. I understand
Yeah, but-
all the stuff that's going on with gaming. You and I talked about it, and I completely understand it, but
and I know you don't.
asking them about signage for gaming,
Yeah.
that would be a whole different
And I-
ballgame, because that's like, rules and regulations with,
I
building structures and that kind of thing. But as far as gaming goes, I already have it.
I completely understand where you're coming from, but the residents do not. And I know that you're saying that right now, that you could have your gaming license right now. I understand that. I want you to have that. I think we all do, but we
So
are
I guess
very.
it's just me saying, like, then I guess to me, what I would think, like, asking the residents is having a full pour or not a full pour, because they all come in and ask, this is just our feedback we get from all of the community. Are we going to be able to have, a cocktail here, or is it just going to be beer and wine? And they want that. So that's why I chose to come in front of the board and ask for it at this point.
I think what we're asking for as a board is just time. I don't think we're trying to deny you your license. I think we just want that time. And that was the importance of what I said about why we shouldn't have waived that first reading.
Okay.
There's a process for that too. That's why we have that process of a first and second reading.
Okay.
that process is designed to give us a little bit of time so that way we could connect with our residents. We could have residents come talk with us. We could talk amongst each other as a board. So that's where I'm going at. I would really ask of you right now to be okay with me making a motion to table this to our next meeting in 2 weeks. And this would be a second reading because we've already waived the first. So if we wait till the second meeting, that is a final reading. We would read and make a determination on that. That's what I ask you for, is I'm just asking you for time right now. Otherwise, I cannot give my vote to say yes in favor of it because I need to talk with residents and I need to talk with the rest of the board members. So I'm just asking for time.
I understand.
Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. I think that something that Trustee Patrick said kind of resonates with me, and that is, I don't think that everybody understands the nuances of the liquor license. I'm not sure I understand the nuances of the liquor license, even sitting where I am, which is why we're fortunate enough to have people to talk to and to call.
Right.
Right? So when we have the conversations that we do have with people in the community, it's very much like the first thing is, that sounds great. Are they going to have gaming? Because we're
Right.
really against gaming. I hear differently. I don't hear that it's signs. I hear we don't want gaming.
Right.
Like, we have
heard
enough
both,
of that.
right.
And so we're kind of stuck in the middle of that because we do want to have this growth and we do want you to have your pour license. We want you to have your bar. But then we also want to make sure that we have this balance, right? And we did have some discussion late last year that kind of came to a head in our community that was centered around gaming. And we really do need to have that discussion. And I don't think that we have the proper, we haven't had the proper discussions on what we want to do with gaming yet to really, in my opinion, kind of come back around and say, going to what our public comment was today, this is going to set the precedence for 2025 and for the future. And I'm not sure that we want that precedence to be, yep, gaming on. I'm not sure that's where I stand right now. But that doesn't mean that I don't want you to have your pour license. So it's kind of like this gray area where we're doing this dance. So
But
to
it-
not have our second reading it's frustrating to me to not be able to have that conversation. That's where I stand at the moment.
Okay. Trustee Cordova.
So this is, Mortadelli's been open almost a year. It's a women-owned business. They're trying to expand the business. When we talk about, revenue growth and growth here in the village, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that's what this was, right? This is a business that's been embraced by the community as well as surrounding communities. Wonderful business owners, love the place, coming in. They're not asking for gaming. We can't take their gaming away. We cannot take their gaming away up here. We do not get to govern that here. But if she's coming in and asking she can now do sale of beer and wine only, and she's asking to do alcoholic liquors or for consumption on premise, that's what she's asking for. She's not asking for gaming. She's not asking to do anything with gaming. The gaming piece has nothing to do with us passing this ordinance to increase or reduce. The business that we've already done that to, which again was one of my concerns, that we're passing on business here in Villa Park, is still closed. That place is still closed. They have a quad A. It's dead. There's nothing there right now. So this is, again, women-owned business, a year open, and we're saying no. So just that's it.
Trustee Kumar.
My problem is our options as a board have been very weak with regards to gaming. We have no say in how much gaming comes. Everybody has their license, and the way it was set up, until recently, we had no way to monitor or the amount of gaming in town. And the residents consistently come out and say, why is our town becoming a gaming town? If you look down St. Charles, and my story is the same that I used for the other business that I closed. I won't differentiate between businesses necessarily. My story is going to stay consistent in that gaming is taking over a lot of the businesses that we considered our brick and mortar storehouses in town. And what's happening, I feel economically, is that becomes the safe fall. A lot of businesses choose gaming as their safe fall to sustain their business. Now, you can only do that in a restaurant business or a thing, but now we're starting to, dance studios becoming that way. You see, it's not just gaming for gaming self where people are coming in. It's the safe fall when you can't make money somewhere else. Let's choose that as my method of augmenting my funds so my business doesn't fail. A lot of times that's just a step, right? It's a 1-year step and then suddenly everything goes down. And I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see that for businesses in town because they go to that step as a safe fall, and a lot of that happened during COVID, right? COVID was a bad time. People weren't entering businesses. People closed their seating areas. The seating areas then suddenly turned to gaming areas in many of our businesses. It's frustrating for us and just before coming in here, as a resident, the biggest complaint we hear from other residents is, how come we have no place to eat in town? A lot of the places have closed. How come we have this problem? And that's a complaint that comes again and again and again. Now, we don't have much choice once we've given out this license. The licensing structure, whether you have gaming or not, is actually decided by the state of Illinois. That's not decided within Villa Park. All we can do is try to work our way around it, because we're also under a quandary as to address the problem of our residents, right? The problem being excess gaming in town. We have to address that somewhere. We are on the board to address that issue. And so I'm not against tabling this for another 2 weeks. I'm not sure that I would change my mind just because of those 2 weeks. And that's the truth. My decision with regards to this license may be the same, whether those 2 weeks exist or not.
Trustee Kumar, you had said that there's no way we never had a way to monitor. We always had a way to monitor how much gaming we had. Because when the liquor license was out and the gaming license was issued, we always had reports on that.
Yeah, but we
So-
can't stop it. We have no way
Yeah, right.
to
Well,
stop
yeah.
gaming, except at the license point.
Right.
If we want to curb our gaming in town, which
Right.
you may or may not want to do that, that's a totally different story how you fall on that, right? There are people who are for it, there are people who are against it. I personally feel it's pushing out a lot of our, the better aspects of the restaurant business, but that's just a feeling, right? You run a business, you might have a totally different opinion, right? That's just a feeling. So that's my gut feeling on that. It's pushing out the beautiful aspects of many of our restaurants, and now many of them are turning to that as a false safe. And maybe, it's a promise.
I can promise you that that's not a false safe for us, because if it was, I wouldn't have expanded my business. And if you come and visit Mortadella, you can tell that that's not, that's, our business isn't tacky. We don't have absurd things outside. It's a beautiful place. We attract.
I agree, and I've been there, so I know. So no
people that
issues.
come from the city, from Oak Park, Elmhurst, every single day. We are bringing in so many people into our community, which only helps Villa Park. I mean, it's
I agree.
helping everything in Villa Park. That's our main thing. And by us expanding, we're not looking for a Safeway. Believe me, if we were failing, we wouldn't be expanding. We're expanding because we want to bring more revenue to Villa Park, more residents, more family, more space for people to sit down and eat and congregate together and draw their friends over, their family over.
Trustee Corkery.
So it's the triple E is full pour, no gaming, right? Triple A?
No, it's a quad E.
There's Quad A and Quad E, but
Well,
they're,
it's Quad 8 that they would be looking for.
if you, no,
For clarification, the E's are the restaurants. The A's are the taverns and bars.
So full pour, no gaming, what is that?
For what they would qualify.
One we created.
The one they would qualify for is the Quad A.
Quad A.
Because they technically don't qualify for the restaurant because that's the service.
Okay.
So if you get counter service, you technically don't qualify. It's that weird thing. So for them, it would be the Quad A.
You currently hold a triple A.
Correct.
Now, when you came before this board asking for a
They
triple
own
A,
they right now have a,
Double A.
no, he's
oh, that's right.
Triple A.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay.
When you came before the board asking for a AAA, the Quad A did not exist. That's correct?
That's correct.
If you had come before us in a time when the Quad A had existed, I would have told you to apply for a Quad A. It wasn't an option, now it is. That is the direction I would like to see this town move in regard to liquor licenses. Again, I can't speak for the board, but I feel that we as a board, you know, not trying to speak for everyone, want to see fewer gaming licenses and less gaming in town. So if you would like a pour license, I think it's reasonable to ask you to meet us halfway and give up the gaming aspect.
So regardless, Jack, I could have gaming with my thing I have now.
Yeah,
Whether you
I
guys
understand
like it or
that.
not.
I totally understand that.
So I went past there, that was a lawyer's office. We turned a lawyer's office into a restaurant deli, right? We didn't look like for a Stella's, it's a restaurant. Next door was an eyesore, it was a upholstery place. Did you ever see it on that street?
Yes.
You saw it, right?
Yes.
You lived across the street from it, didn't you,
Yes,
Jack?
I did.
Okay, what did it look like?
It looked like an upholstery place.
Okay. If you walked in there now, your eyes would be amazing how beautiful it looks in there right now.
I understand that, and you guys have a very nice, classy business,
So,
but
so regardless if you don't want to give us the full pour, we still have our gaming. I'm not gonna, and I could put it in there if I don't want to. It's not up to the trustees or the village president no more. We already have that.
yes, but the full pour is up to the
Oh,
trustees.
100%. But in
And I'm asking you to meet us halfway
I don't
here.
need. Why would I give that up? Because what if I do? Because what if the restaurant doesn't do well, and I do need that extra income?
Well, I hope you don't turn that way,
Just
but
saying. So, I mean, you know.
we don't, or not we, I want fewer gaming licenses. do
Well, I
not
already
want
have a
more.
gaming license.
All right,
We're
well,
not asking for gaming, we're asking for full pour so that.
you're asking for a full pour with the gaming.
Because, well, look at everything that's going on. So why would we give up our license that we currently have, that everybody's going through all this stuff for right now, and it's just crazy going back and forth? Why am I gonna give that up right now when you just said they're never gonna issue that again, they're not, you know, all that kind of stuff? The gaming to me is not what I'm here for. I'm here for full pour so that you can have, again, a old fashioned, a drink with your wife at the bar. Like, I'm not looking to ask for gaming. I already have it. I'm not looking to turn our town into flashing lights. That's not what I want. It's terrible. I don't like that. I would never do that. But I don't think I should have to give up my license that I currently have with gaming because I want to have you come in and be able to order a vodka and soda when I could already have gaming and serve you beer and wine.
Okay. A couple of more comments, and then we'll either vote on delaying this or vote on the, trustee Alfano.
Thank you. So I just want some clarification because I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing you say that you're not interested in gaming.
I never said I would not be interested in gaming. I said that from the beginning. I have a gaming license, and I'm not telling you I'm not ever going to do gaming. I just said that I'm not asking for a gaming license because I currently have it. I just feel that when I have a full bar, because I was able to expand our business, if you went into a bar, if you came in with your husband, let's just say, and you know what it's like on Mortadelli and serving the subs on that side when we only had that side. You have your subs. We didn't push liquor because we didn't have a bar. We didn't have that. I didn't feel like it was that type of ambiance, right? So now when you come in, if you walked into our business and see how we've expanded and how it's still a little separated, but it is one, you come and you want to order a drink and you can only get beer or wine. It's kind of like, really, come on. It's going to limit our business. It's going to make us hurt because we're not able to serve a vodka and soda. They then can go across the street to Ardmore Lounge. Well, in the meantime, Mortadelli is now going to stay open later hours and we'll be able to serve you dinner and have a cocktail at the same time. But this is going to, hinder us at that point.
I
if we
wasn't finished
can't.
with my question yet, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
heard you say that you weren't exactly interested in gaming, but then I'm hearing you say that you don't really want to give up the gaming license. So I'm also, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm hearing you say, it feels like, what you're saying, if you don't get the license that you're asking for, then what are you going to do with that extra space?
If I don't get the full pour,
So-
it's going to obviously
Because what I'm
limit the amount of people and patrons that come into my business. If I have a full bar and I cannot serve full liquor. It's going to hurt my business because people are going to go to Stolgen's, they're going to go to Ardmore Lounge, they're going to go to another town so they can have a hard drink, hard alcohol or a vodka. You know what I mean? That's just, it's normal. When you go to a bar, it's usually a full pour. That's why.
I'm
So.
still not understanding those. So what I'm getting at then is you don't want to give up the license that allows you to have gaming, but you're not interested in a quad A, which, because it's not a quad E, it's a quad A. You have this space that you want to have the full pour license for,
Right.
but you're not interested in gaming, but you still want to keep the gaming.
I didn't say I'm not interested in gaming.
Well, we've heard you say that you're not interested in having that gaming portion. We really want to be the deli. We really want to just pour drinks.
Honestly,
I've
you know what?
heard. Did I
I just
miss-
feel like I'm being picked apart about the gaming.
I
And
just
I
wanna
didn't come here
understand.
for gaming. I came here to get a full pour I'm a woman-owned business. I'm trying to expand my business for our community. The way, even when I talked to come in for this meeting to get put on the agenda, I just was even told when I was walked through it, I have a triple A, I would have to go down to a double A. And basically, it's a pretty smooth transition. You just are going from the same license to have, hard full pour. But now this has turned into like a gaming meeting, and I just feel like this is taking over the whole reason of why I'm here. I'm here for a full pour. It has nothing to do with gaming. I already have gaming.
So I'm going to resort back to what Trustee Corkery said. We do have that quad triple A that does allow for that full pour.
Right.
And
However, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
and I think that if it isn't about gaming at all and it is about having that ability to serve, then we do have that option of that quad A. That is why we created those other options as well.
Well, I'm feeling like this meeting is more about you guys wanting me to give up my license that I have because you even said yourself, Jack, that you voted on it and you wish you had not because it had gaming in it. So basically, this meeting has turned into you guys wanting me to give up my gaming license because of all the stuff that's going on. And now you want me to give up my gaming license so that that's not here anymore because you guys don't want to issue anymore with all the issues that are going on with the place that's vacant still. And I don't feel that what I came to this meeting for was to talk about gaming or about gaming because I already have it. So
Okay.
I'm not trying to change anybody else's mind or go through and go back and forth about the same thing. I am looking for a full pour so you can come on a date night and have hard alcohol. If I want gaming, I can have it right now, but obviously that's not my main objective.
Okay.
President Castillo.
All right. All right, last comment, and then you've got a motion on the floor right now.
No, I don't. I never made that motion.
Oh.
But what I would like to say is, like what I said earlier, I think we just need a little bit of time. I think we could find common ground here, and I think it's easier than that. If we just take our time to table this to the next meeting, that gives us all the time to get our ducks in a row, get to talk with the director, and then also each other, and have feedback from our residents. That's all I'm asking for. I think if we move forward with a vote right now, it won't go the way that you like it to. And I don't want that to happen. I want you guys to have a full pour. But I am saying right now, I think the best thing to do would be to table this to the next meeting.
Well, Deepa said it's not going to matter today or taking it to the next. So, I mean, it's kind of like, it's mixed for me because.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we table this item until our next stated meeting on March 10th.
Okay, so we have a motion to
Second that.
postpone until March 10th.
I would like to second.
Okay. Questions, comments? Trustee Kozar.
I would like to amend that motion to make it to May 26th. That's after the election and after the new board gets seated. As the petitioner has said, she has a license right now. If they want to move gaming machines into the property, they certainly can. It's not going to prohibit them from selling beer and wine. There's a lot of conversation up here, and I think the people of Villa Park should decide where they want to go with gaming in Villa Park. So I would like to see that motion amended to May 26th.
Are you making the
I am
motion?
making that motion.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Do we have a second? Okay.
Point of order.
So it would be the,
Thank you.
it would be the 19th.
Yeah.
19th,
Yeah.
May 19th.
Do you have that, Mr. President?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion to postpone until May 19th?
Well,
Or- Go ahead.
The motion to amend it to May
To amend it
19th
to May
needs to be
19th.
seconded.
Yeah, right. Do we have a second for that?
I will second that.
Trustee Alfano. Questions, comments? Trustee Kumar.
I don't like making businesses wait for decisions. That seems to me not good practice, you know? It's not about my election or who votes me in at this point or who votes someone else in. It's about doing right by whoever's a business. So I would rather not wait to make that decision. I'm fine with taking the consequences, but I do agree with you, Trustee Kozar, in that we need some more time if we're going to assess what the actual village thinks. I can corroborate with a little bit more time. I don't want to wait till after a new board or anything of that sort. That seems like a very long time to me.
Yeah,
So, or for a new president, necessarily. And I don't think we should even be talking about election in here, so I'm just gonna stop that discussion. But I would, you know, maybe give it some time. I will let, Melissa, could you weigh on what is a acceptable amount of time? And Director McLaughlin to kind of weigh on an acceptable amount of time to weigh in the options and what the beliefs of our town is on this particular issue.
With respect to what an acceptable amount of time is.
Time to reassess their.
That's really not a legal, I can't give a legal advice as to that, except that this board may want to consider this matter at a committee of the whole meeting where there could be further discussion on the liquor license classifications as a whole. And so the board can decide in concert with the village manager as to maybe what committee of the whole that could be decided upon.
So.
But right now, we have a motion to postpone this to now May 19th.
19th,
It's
right.
been amended. So if you don't want to wait that long, you would vote against that. If
Yeah.
you want to wait that long, you would vote in favor of it. If that motion fails, there's still a motion to postpone to the March 10th
Yep.
meeting.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And the board does have the authority to postpone again if they want to at whatever meeting it's before the board again.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. This board has had the discussions on this issue. Now you're going to have a new board, potentially have 3 new members up here and throw them into this discussion. I think this board needs to make the decision. This board has had the discussions on this. This board knows what's going on. So I think this board needs to make that decision. Trustee Cordova.
I agree. Having a small business wait 2 months for a decision that's going to hinder their revenue, their plans, that should be 100% against what we're trying to do here on this board for small businesses in Village. So, so we're going to vote for the 19th as an amendment.
Yes.
That goes down, or it goes through, whichever we'll hear, and then the second one will be for March 10th.
For March 10th, correct, yeah. Trustee Patrick.
Just to, Trustee Kumar, you said that you don't want to make any businesses wait for this. This is why it's important we have a second reading. And this is why it's important that we should not have waived the first reading. And that's why I'm suggesting my original motion of just moving it to the next stated meeting. I think we have the ability to make this decision in favor of this, but we need that time, and that is the importance of the first and second reading.
Okay. Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. What is our committee of the whole for March 10th? And is that a possibility for us to add a discussion?
So, a couple of things, Trustee Alfano. Right now, we had slated to do a discussion on lead service line. The other thing is the amount of time it would take to prepare that issue properly. I'm looking at the look on Mark's face, and I don't think we could have that prepared. So I would not put it on March 10th. And I don't know if Director McLaughlin wants to add anything to that.
Yeah, if I may. When we were here at the end of last year talking about redoing the liquor license section, the strategy that I relayed was coming forward when the new board was seated with the committee of the whole, and then rolling out the full ordinance approval. And I'm internally still working toward that. So rushing it in advance would only give you guys bad information. I'm not prepared to speak in March or May, March or April. It was May or June. So,
Thank you for being candid.
yeah, just
Trustee Kumar.
As far as the second reading, as you see, we have a different way of approaching whether we had a second reading or not, so that is not the issue at hand. I would like to, as fast as possible, give people the licenses they want, if I could do it. Now, it looks like as we get more information from our petitioner, we change our mind. So in this case, I'm willing to waive it. I wouldn't want to do that with every business. If someone came in and said, no, I'm fine with a quadruple A, I would have made an immediate change to say, you got that license today, and I would want it to run today. But since this particular petitioner is kind of saying, no, they want to keep their gaming license, and they want to, have the pour license, then it's something that needs to be vetted out a little bit more. And until I got that information, I can't make that decision. I would rather give the benefit of the doubt to the business first than give the benefit of the doubt to us up here. So that's the reason I made the decision to waive the first reading. Because there's no point in making a business wait. I mean, as a business person, I do not like to do that. I realize that you guys are running with the money, and actually making you wait is only going to make you go towards gaming more, because that's income that's lost. So that's something I definitely do not want to do. But in this case, since this is a contention that we have up here, I definitely agree with Trustee Patrick that I would be willing to wait a couple of weeks, get more information from our constituents as to how they want us to proceed here.
Okay. Trustee Patrick.
And just to clarify, that the agenda was created today with this being an item as a first reading, meaning that the second reading would have happened on March 10th anyways. So this gives us the opportunity to just bring it back in 2 weeks as opposed to next year, or next administration.
Okay. Trustee Kozar.
I think a vodka tonic would sound really good right now.
Oh, yeah, I agree, but I just want to leave with this, that I currently have a gaming license with a beer and wine on and off premise. You want me to do well. I'm a woman-owned business. I've brought great to our community and around us, okay? So if you decide that you do not want to approve me to go from a AAA to a AA, both of them having gaming, me already having that, so I can't serve you a vodka soda right now, that's only going to hurt my business in our village and push me, as you said, towards gaming, whether it does or doesn't, or push me to have to close my business because I'm a single mother trying to make it and do great things for our community because you want me to give up a gaming license. To me, this isn't about gaming because I already have it. This is about you guys making a decision on me being able to pour a vodka and soda. As far as flashing lights in my windows go, that has nothing to do. I don't control that. That's on the building, structural, that side of it. So they can regulate that. And even if I was allowed to do that, I wouldn't do that. So I just want to leave you with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Clerk Kornacki, we have a motion to postpone until May 9th.
It's actually the motion to amend.
Okay.
A motion to postpone to May 19th.
May 19th. Okay.
All right. Trustee Alfano,
No.
Trustee Corkery?
No.
Trustee Cordova?
No.
Trustee Patrick?
No.
Trustee Kozar?
No.
We got Trustee Kumar?
No.
Okay, and President Kazone?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we go back to the original motion to postpone to March 10th, 2025. We never had a second, did we?
It was
Yeah,
second.
Yes.
We had a
Patrick
second on that?
Alfano.
Okay,
Corkery and Cordova.
okay. Clerk Konecki, this is to postpone until March 10th.
Okay, Trustee Corkery?
No.
Okay. Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
No.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yeah, I'm going to vote yes on that. So we'll postpone this until March 10th, and we'll come back and do it again. Okay? Thank you. Okay. We have no ordinances for second readings. Item 13A is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a consulting engineering services agreement with Baxter and Woodman, Inc. of Crystal Lake, Illinois, for professional consulting engineering services for the TIF 5 parking lot modifications, Phase 1 and Phase 2, in an amount not to exceed $143,410. Manager Harline.
This resolution authorizes the village manager to execute a professional engineering agreement with Baxter and Woodman, Inc. of Crystal Lake, Illinois, for the Phase 1 preliminary engineering and Phase 2 construction drawings, engineering services for the museum parking lot and surrounding area project in the amount not to exceed $143,410. This item is budgeted in TIF 5 engineering services. Staff recommends approval, and Director Mark McLaughlin is here to answer questions or give any more details that you would like about this project.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
You have a second. Trustee Corkery? Any questions or comments? Trustee Kumar?
A comment was brought out during our comments from, I would like Director Guerrera to address kind of what's the plan in terms of this parking lot and why or what, or maybe Mark.
Yeah, Director McLaughlin probably has
Sorry.
more information on that.
If this wasn't a TIF plan, it would probably be him.
Yes.
But since it's specific for TIF funding and it's one of those items that comes out, it came out of the parking study that we did, the two sub-areas. It was noted that there's the parking along Park Boulevard, but there's no pedestrian connection to the path or to Central. That's where we initially started. And then when we started diving into it at budget time, it was, you know, this is a very inefficient parking lot as well. One way in, which is close to Villa, doesn't make the most sense. There's a lot of pavement with a single row of parking. So we've had preliminary conversations with Baxter Women about what could we do here. And as part of that budget, which you guys did approve, and this was an item within that, it was how do we maximize our parking in this area, especially as we go through the recommendations of that parking study.
Trustee Kumar?
To go on, is this TIF funded? Okay, so it's completely out of TIF funding that
Correct.
we're funding this particular project?
That's correct.
And so I want to clarify that to the people of Villa Park, that we are using TIF funds to improve this lot, and it has been assessed, so that's something to know.
Okay. Manager Harline?
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that part of the thing that one of the things that we're looking at is the possibility, in cooperation with the county, to address a request from the Historical Preservation Society to pave some of that, a small portion of the Illinois Prairie Path there, because there's a lot of dust that gets kicked up by the trail that gets into the building. So we've looked at the possibility of trying to, that's been mentioned for several years by them. So that's one possibility that might come out of this project as well.
Yeah, in anticipation of this resolution, staff has had a kickoff meeting with DuPage, the DuPage County engineer, regarding what we could and could not do on that site. And so that is one of our asks, and it'll be a permitted project through them as well as a permit through us as well.
Okay. Anyone else? Hey, Clerk Konecki?
Okay, Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes. Okay, we have no, I don't think we have any unfinished business. Okay,
Quick
Yep,
question.
trustee Alfano.
When are we scheduled to get printed copies of the budget? Do we have an update on that?
Major Hunter.
That is, I'd like to have it ready by mid-March, but we have had, we had the budget in the old software. It's now in the new software. We've been working on a variety of different things. We're having some problems. Well, I didn't say problems, it's just, the staff has been taxed with trying to learn the new system, install the new system. That's not an appropriate time. It should be done in January. We thought we were on a schedule to do that, but some other things happened, which had, that's, I don't want to, staff turnover, that sort of thing. So I apologize for that. I was really wanted to get you that in January, so it's going to be March, and I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Move on to new business. Do we have any new business? Trustee Kozar.
All right. So I have some serious matters to put on the agenda for the next meeting, and I have some fun items to put on the agenda for next meeting. So let's start with the serious. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. I wish I could say it's been eye-opening, but I can't, so it's kind of unfortunate. So the first general topic is I would like to have our rules of order and procedure put on our agenda. We have an issue with staff, namely our manager and our president sending out blind copy emails, BCC, so blind, like you can't see it, like a secret. We need a policy on our blind copy emails. We also need a clear prohibition on reading into the record any anonymous emails and letters. To that point, we need to verify that any requests that come into the village, be that request for a response for a FOIA or any action, for that matter, needs to come from an actual verifiable person, not these fake profiles. We also need a clear statement as to the president being able to unilaterally change our agenda after publication without the consent of the majority of the board. The second topic that I would like to have on the agenda is our liquor code. We need to discuss the 90-day rule for businesses seeking a liquor license. The 90 days applies to a licensee having to use their liquor license within 90 days of obtaining it in that 90-day window. So this is an element of what happened with 24 East St. Charles, AKA Lena's. At the meeting on November 11th, when it was last discussed, we were given information from our attorney that at best was unclear. I want to discuss it and see if the board sees fit in changing that local rule. Third, I spoke with a resident, Ms. Coleman, who suggested that we place a couple garbage cans on Ardmore in our downtown district. So I would like to talk about that. And then fourth, I spoke with some leaders at the Islamic Foundation with regard to the stoplight at Myers and High Ridge. Now, I understand that this is technically Lombard, but I would like it to be put on the agenda to discuss how we can assist our neighbors in alleviating the traffic on High Ridge, especially in light of Ramadan starting. So now, onto the fun stuff. This is my last thing that I would like to see on the agenda. I'd like to introduce you to a new member of our Villa Park community. I don't know if that'll show it. But this is Daisy. And before I get interrupted and then say, no campaigning or electioneering on the dais, I admit she can't vote. But she does have some ideas. And I've been talking with Leslie CI about some of those ideas, and I'd like it put on the agenda for next meeting. We've been talking about creating a dog park in Rotary Park over by Montrose and Wildwood. We have some ideas about how to fund it without costing the village anything. And as you know, Rotary Park is at the intersection of our newly opened Tri-Trail connection. It's a perfect location and a fantastic opportunity for Villa Park. I'd like to present the idea in detail and potentially take a vote on some direction. That's what I have for new business.
Okay. Anyone else, new business? Trustee Kumar.
I have been kind of monitoring what residents are saying, and there has been a lot of concerns about both the train station and the post office, and issues with possibly homeless people staying there for some time. And this is a delicate issue to address, I admit. I would like our police department and village to kind of weigh in on options with regards to this issue at hand. There was a lot of discussion about this over the week. It is important for people to be comfortably get back and forth to work on the train, but it's also very sensitive what we can do with our homeless people in town. So it's something that we need to have a discussion about as to what our options are with dealing with this issue at hand.
Go ahead, Chief.
It's an excellent question, and it's something that we need to discuss as a village. We've had meetings with the Tri-Town Y, we've had meetings with the Catholic Charities about what can be done and where placement can be for the homeless. There's issues with a couple of them because they have a sordid past. And I think that's as far as I should go with a couple of them. And so they fall through the cracks. And a lot of agencies will not take on people with these kinds of situations in their past, basically violence. And so that they're not good neighbors, they're not good people to have in residence next to other people who are nonviolent. So that's the issues. The two people in question that we're dealing with, we've had to arrest twice, and we've done that. And both times have ended up where that person was taken to the hospital for their own needs. It's a quandary for all of us. Last week, the temperatures were so low that it would have been inhumane to ask anybody to move from any of those locations. So right now, with the temperatures being warmer, we're hoping for a different outcome. We have toured those facilities, the manager and I, and when we went to the post office, there was nobody there, and it was clean. It looked good. I know Parks and Rec, they've had a heck of a time, for lack of a better word, in cleaning up after a couple of people that have been using that facility. So I think they've come up with a plan to just close and have everybody be removed. Obviously, temperatures being what they are right now, stable at 30-something degrees, 40 degrees, that's not a bad idea. As it gets colder, we have to probably rethink that decision.
And I have to agree with the chief. I had an experience with that a couple of weeks ago at St. A's. During Mass, a woman came in and was one of the people that the police has had trouble with, and it was very difficult. Pads is closed, there's nobody to get a hold of. None of the churches around have anything, and I ended up getting her an Uber. She wanted to go to 7-Eleven, they just ordered an Uber for her. So it is a big issue, and like the chief says, there's just no place for them to go right now. All of the charities are closed. As COVID closed down all of the pads in the churches, so it's a very difficult situation right now. Yeah,
Right,
Chief.
if I may, Your Honor. PADS has changed their business model. As we know, they're now stationary in Downers Grove, I believe, at the old Red Roof Inn. They do have a team that can come out and do an assessment, and I think that's something we can look into. But again, placing, and also when those people don't want to be placed, that's where it becomes a tough decision for everybody. The manager and I, we came across one of the individuals in question, and it would be difficult for our staff to move them without it leading to some sort of physical altercation. And that's a problem for all of us. We don't want to go hands-on with anybody, unless we're forced to protect ourselves or protect someone else. So it's, again, it's a quandary, and it's a societal issue. It's not a police issue until people call us, obviously, but it is a societal issue because there are people that fall through the cracks in these situations, and it's unfortunate.
Okay. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. Okay, move on to item 16, Village Commission reports. Acceptance of the minutes of the Community Fund Commission meeting held on November 26, 2024. Acceptance of the minutes of the Video Production Commission meeting held on December 11, 2024. Acceptance of the minutes of the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee meeting held on November 21st, 2024. Acceptance of the minutes of the Parks and Rec Advisory Commission meeting held on January 11th, 2025, and those are all in the packet tonight. Go to Village Clerk's report.
No report, thank you.
Okay. Village Trustees report. We will start on our right tonight. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. Good evening, Villa Park. Thank you for tuning in. I just want to kind of share a uplifting story with you. My youngest son, Grant, who is a student at Stella Mae Swartz, last week participated in a school-wide talent show. And all the students there involved worked really hard, practiced their routines, and on the day of the event, everything went flawless except for one thing. Unfortunately, one of the students that had prepared a piano ensemble, the piano broke, or the keyboard broke at the last minute, and she was not able to perform at the talent show in front of everybody. So it was kind of a little sad. But the uplifting part is that we go to the same school as Brandon and Sarah, the owners of Villa Park, and they're also affiliated with Beyond Center Stage, both businesses right here in Villa Park. Brandon and Sarah took it upon themselves to donate one of their own keyboards to the school, which is just amazing. And now because of this student that they donated the keyboard to, or the school, is going to be able to play at the next assembly in front of the entire class. So I just want to give a shout out to Brandon and Sarah for a job well done. That is what community is about. That's what it is about, coming together when we need it most. And it's those stories that I love sharing with you. So good job, Brandon, Sarah. Thank you for making that happen. You're making another kid at school very happy to be able to perform. Lastly, again, I know it's been busy out there for our police and fire. It always is. It's getting busier. Thank you for what you do out there. I really do mean that. I really do appreciate that. Please tell your departments that I said thank you. You guys go out there every day not knowing what to expect. And you do that coming here to protect us in Villa Park. So thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Cordova.
Just to reiterate what somebody said during public comments, the Villa Park Parks and Rec Commission meeting has been moved from the 11th to the 4th. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Trustee Kozar.
Sure. During our last meeting on February 10th, the village manager, Manager Harline, told you something that was not true. He broke protocol, he broke our order of rules and procedure, and he broke ordinance 2-410 when he interrupted me and spouted out an allegation that was false. You can view this on YouTube at the meeting, 14 minutes and 25 seconds in. What Manager Harline claimed is that over 2 weeks prior to the February 10th meeting, he sent me the 41-page RDA contract for the Union property to review, so the board would have ample time to review the contract prior to the vote. This project is an $85 million project that we've been working on for over 5 years. This allegation was investigated the following day. It was definitively proven false, a mistruth, and Manager Harline admitted to it. I did not receive the contract as he alleged, nor, as I understand, did any of the other trustees. The truth is, the board was given approximately 5 days to review and approve a 41-page contract that staff and the developer had 5 years to create. When he made this untrue statement, I took him at his word. Ultimately, I voted to pass the RDA, thinking that I was the one that had missed something. I voted on the RDA in part on the faith of our Community Development Director, Mark McLaughlin, and the integral part he played in the negotiation and drafting of this contract. I've been vocal about the mistakes that the previous administration made with the Hawthorne disaster over by the train station. Director McLaughlin listened and worked hard to implement those safeguards so we do not repeat those mistakes. Nevertheless, I had about 5 days, the board had about 5 days, to review a project, a contract that had been in the works for over 5 years. This incident is reminiscent of issues that occurred 7 meetings ago at the November 11th, 24 meeting, also on YouTube, where it came to light 1 hour and 4 minutes into the meeting that after asking President Canzone a direct question as to what he said and what he put into an email to the tenants of the property at 24 East St. Charles, also known as Lena, he blatantly told me something that was not true. And again, I had to spend time doing an investigation that proved the falsity of his answers. Please look at the meetings. They're on YouTube. We're going into executive session to discuss Manager Harline's behavior. We're also going into executive session to discuss Attorney Wolf's behavior, and we will have additional legal counsel for that meeting. Again, at the last meeting, Attorney Wolf broke protocol, broke our order of rules and procedure, and broke Ordinance 2-410. She attempted to chill my First Amendment right of free speech, spurred on by President Canzone. Watch and listen to the video of 2/10/25 at 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 45 seconds. This is unacceptable. If they attempt to do this to me as an elected official of our community, as an attorney, and as somebody who does not take lightly to those that try to oppress others, how do they treat and how will they treat the residents of our community? As I said at our last meeting, I will always stand for the truth, and I say it now. I will always stand for the truth. The board appears not to be respected by those that are subordinate to our authority. You deserve members of the board that will stand up for you and bring order to our village. I invite every member of this board to join me in that pursuit and have these discussions in executive session.
Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I want to remind everyone that there is a Fund Commission meeting tomorrow at 5:30 in the Committee of the Whole room. On Wednesday, there is an open house at the Villa Park Rec Center for input on the comprehensive plan. I think that starts at 5:30. Am I right? 5:30 to 8? It is a good excuse to come on out to the new rec building if you haven't visited yet. March 1st is coffee with the board at 9 a.m. Here in the boardroom. I can't believe it's going to be March already. Come get some coffee, get a donut, maybe meet a neighbor, say hi and chat with us because we're here to listen for you, or to you as well. And lastly, I missed the last meeting due to an illness, but I was able to see the meeting from a different perspective as I watched it on YouTube. And that perspective only validated what I've been feeling during the meetings for a while now, which can be summed up in one statement. No matter who it is sitting in these seats on the dais, the institution of the board as a whole needs to be fully informed, honored, and respected to do the work for the residents that it represents. What I witnessed on February 10th and what I have experienced in multiple meetings and interactions thus far shows that we have some work to do so the Board of Trustees here in Villa Park as an institution is one that functions as an informed group who can work together on behalf of the residents. It is disrespectful to the residents of Villa Park and to all the trustees when an employee is allowed to interrupt a trustee when they are speaking. We have rules of order. We should follow them. It is disrespectful to the residents of Villa Park and to all trustees when information is not shared with all trustees involved in the decision-making process. When information is promised to us and expected, it should be given and shared with everyone. There is a breakdown in communication. We need to fix this. It is disrespectful to the residents of Villa Park and to all trustees when one trustee is accused of electioneering on the dais, especially when the optics of the manager's self-proclaimed negligence makes it appear he is putting his thumb on the scale during this election season with shrewd, unprofessional comments, and what seemingly feels like deliberately not sharing information with all trustees to pit or benefit one trustee against or over another. To clarify this statement, I know of at least 3 board members who did not receive a copy of the RDA that was in question at the last meeting. I also know there were questions from many of us regarding the location of the audit during the audit presentation in January, learning later that we received this important documentation in an email that was forwarded without a proper title to indicate its importance. Equal and consistent communication is needed to do the work here on the dais. We need to fix this. It is disrespectful to the residents of Villa Park and to all trustees when the president of the board allows some members of the public to comment and mutter loud enough to interrupt the board's business at hand rather than gaveling them out of order. Consistency is key when addressing the procedures of our meetings to keep order and allow our meetings to run efficiently. We need to fix this. It is disrespectful to the residents of Villa Park and to all trustees when the trustees have to fight or dig for facts and spend time chasing information rather than making decisions. Information should be freely shared. We need to fix this. I know it seems like a lot, and it is. I look forward to seeing these changes come to life for the benefit of all of us here in Villa Park. I ask my fellow trustees and the village president and anyone currently seeking a seat here on this respectable dais, should you agree these points need to be addressed and fixed, to work together for the benefit of the institution and look past whatever personal issues any of you may have with each other. It is what grown-ups do. Thank you.
Trustee Kumar. Please.
Well said.
Trustee Kumar.
I just want to say that as far as information is concerned, I am happy at least this week with the quick turnaround that Chief Rivas gave me in terms of my discussion with regards to what to do at the train station and do at the post office. Moreover, I think, Mark, I have sent you many questions in the recent week or so that you have pretty quickly answered. So I do not want to paint this picture that we are not getting great information. We're not getting great information some of the time, I agree with you. So maybe more consistency definitely is needed. It's an issue that I think we will grow into. I love our staff. I know they're trying their best, and I appreciate all you do.
Trustee Corkery.
No report this week.
Okay, President's report. I was going to bring up coffee with the board this Saturday, March 1st, in the county plan on Wednesday, 5:30 to 8 o'clock. Also, Madison Road, the final leg of the Jackson Pond project will be hopefully starting next Monday. There will be closures on Madison. And Director Guerra, if you'd like to give a
Thank you, Your Honor. I feel it's appropriate time. We kind of apologize for the shorter notice. Unfortunately, as you noticed, the weather's getting nicer, which brings our next favorite season of construction season, which is actually starting now. Been trying to work with the contractor. The weather last week has made it a little bit difficult, so we're trying to push this information out as much as we can and as fast as we can. But they are planning to start in full on what the president has deemed what we call the Jackson Area Improvement. This is the storm sewer extension off of Michigan that connects to the newly expanded Jackson Pond to help prohibit flooding that occurred, I believe 2013 was when it was significantly bad in the village, which prompted this study. With that, they will begin starting on Monday. So we will have a full road closure. That's a little bit of an oddity when we do construction projects, but this is a 72-inch pipe going down the middle of the road. It does not leave much room for vehicles to get around safely. So we will be blocking off Madison from Michigan to Addison. This closure will be about 6 to 8 weeks long for through traffic. We're going to be working with the contractor to allow access to the residents that live along Madison as best we can. Obviously, there's going to be very much times when there's a gigantic excavator or tractor in front of their house, large pieces of pipe, big holes, so that they would not be able to access their homes from 7 to 5. But as we can get pieces of pipe in the ground and move along that lineage along the street, we'll try to get them back in their homes at night best they can and try to accommodate them the best we can. It's just, unfortunately, this is a rather large investment, a rather large project, and it's going to be very intrusive. The project overall is anticipated to be almost a whole year. So we are working with the schools to keep them informed, keep the residents informed. I will make a pitch to the residents that live in this area, which is Jackson. area from Jackson all the way up to Washington, from Michigan to Addison. If you wish, we do have our code red. We do have information on our website how to sign up. We do send weekly text alerts, emails to the residents of what occurs that week, what's going to go on the next week, to keep informed. The residents will be getting door hangers probably tomorrow, but we figured this is an appropriate time, so I appreciate giving me the opportunity to present this.
Great, thanks, Mike, appreciate it. Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. Could you just tell us the perimeters again? Just, I don't know that everybody at home can see that.
Okay, so yeah, it's kind of hard to see with the lights, but the planned detour is actually off of Ardmore up to Washington, all the way down to Westmore Myers Road.
Okay.
Is the plan if you're through traffic on Madison. Jackson will still be available. We're just pushing everybody up to Washington, just because right now school's still in session. If you live in that area or travel that area in the morning or the afternoon, it does get very congested, so we encourage people to take Washington.
Okay.
The hard closure will be, again, Madison, from Michigan all the way to Addison. You will not be able to travel through on Wisconsin, Michigan, or Addison at that time. You can go north and south back to Washington or Jackson, but you cannot go through. And like I said, if you drive by, they've already dropped off some materials. They'll be dropping off materials throughout this week, so there'll be temporary lane closures, but the hard closure will start next Monday.
Thank you, Director.
And we're planning to put this on Facebook and the website tomorrow. We were just getting this information out tonight. We met with the contractor this morning to finalize everything.
Okay, great, thanks, Mike. Okay, I would like to address some of the comments that were made tonight regarding the last meeting. I know Manager Harline has apologized for the comments he made. He was out of line. I think the comments that the attorney and myself made were not out of line. I think it was something, our attorney is here to protect the village and to protect the trustees from saying things that are not permissible. And speaking up at that time is something that we pay our attorney to do, so. That will go to the manager's report.
I have first I'd like to have Chuck Howard, our finance director, present the fourth quarter, or the final financial report for 2024. I believe he has some information about the first month of 2025.
And I apologize, we're in our new software. I think I sent a lot of documents to you in a lot of formats. The exciting part of it is that we can now get down to the departmental level. I know in our discussions, we've talked about rec and we've talked about parks and all of those things and where we are in any of those places. Now you're going to be able to see. If you have questions, if you need any type of line item detail, you can come to me. We can get that for you. Our software is robust in that manner. Just a few highlights, and I'll talk about some of those reports as I go along. Overall general fund.
Those were just emailed to you at the beginning of the meeting. It wasn't they weren't put into a very coherent flat. So you have a series of Excel spreadsheets that were sent to you. That were forwarded to you just at the beginning of this meeting.
Yeah, and we've been working through getting the reports, and our ERP provider has helped us format some financial reports. I've been trying to make myself available to the staff in the transition, not as much time spent as I would have liked to gone through, and probably give you some more graphic representations of what you're seeing in there. Again, going forward, we can use these. We can always come forward with questions. We're all available in the finance group, and I think we're going to see some pretty slick things as we go forward. If you kind of look through, you're going to see that as far as cash and cash movement, you'll see in parks and rec, those cash movements out because we made those payments and waiting for grant reimbursements for that. So about $2.7 million less than what we had last year. And it's
Can it be recognized?
Sure.
So do we have anything that we can look at? You're saying that these emails just came right before this meeting?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were looking for a quarterly financial report. We're just going to do this like verbally?
We can do it verbally now, again, because of the timing. But
Well, what about these things that you're referring to, these reports, we put it up on the screen for people at home to be able to see, or like,
I don't know if they're available in that format.
what's our budget,
Again,
$90 million, right? So, I mean, this is like some pretty heady information.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be handled in one meeting. We honestly can keep this moving forward.
Okay. I know I've asked for quarterly reports for a long
Absolutely,
time.
and we've got all that I think we can view now, and having gotten it earlier, it's going to take some digesting, and I certainly will take responsibility for the timing. But if you want to report, we can do this every meeting till we get that done, but we're learning new.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we're learning new things, and I certainly have all the information and tools at hand. So, we don't have to say, okay, we're done with 24, let's move to 25, or let's talk about, this quarter or part of this quarter. We can always come back, and we can do this every meeting till we've discussed these things, and it'll give you guys time to digest what you've seen.
Trustee Alfano.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I would like to be able for the audience at home to be able to see that. Is there a way to get it on the screen?
I'd forward it to you, Suzanne. I don't know. Yeah, that's what we have.
So I know, like,
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Am I
Go ahead.
recognized?
Oh, well, hang on.
No,
You
are
still
you-
got questions?
Yeah, I do. For clarity, can council tell me, can you explain to me, for Freedom of Information, or not Freedom of Information Act, for Open Meetings Act, when we have information like this that is not part of the agenda, where does that fall? So it wasn't in our packet. It's something that I think that our residents should be privy to, but we just got it at 6:52, so
Understood.
where does that fall for our residents?
That is not the way that I would want to
I'm
send it to
just
you.
asking council, I'm sorry.
So I guess
Sorry.
need some clarification on what exactly
So
exactly you're
'cause we are
asking.
always talking about OMA, and we want to make
Yes.
sure that we stay within OMA.
So there's a difference with respect to the communication to the board and tendering documents to the board. The documents that, a FOIA, I think the documents that are tendered are a public document. But I think you're asking me if the communication to the board that transmitted those documents has an implication under the Open Meetings Act?
So for our agenda and our agenda packet and what's shared on Friday and what's shared within 48 hours to our residents,
Yes.
where does this fall if we get it at 6:52 and now we're talking about it in the agenda?
So the agenda always had the 2024 quarterly financial report as a topic on the agenda.
Okay.
So there is no Open Meetings Act violation. In addition, even if it was not listed on the agenda, you're not taking any action on it, so the board has the ability to speak on that topic, even if it wasn't on the agenda.
Okay.
You just can't take action on it.
Got it. That's the question that I needed clarification on, because I'll have people say like, well, that wasn't in the packet. Why are you talking about that? We can't see it at home.
The agenda was posted 48 hours in advance, and the topic was identified on the agenda. So even though the packet was updated, or you got additional information to support that topic, that's not an Open Meetings Act implication or violation.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, thanks, Chuck.
Okay.
Manager Harlan, anything else?
I did want to say, I'm
Are we
sorry.
not having a quarterly financial report? I mean, is there no summary? Like, that's it? Like, we sent it to you at 6:52? Have had it? I thought we were just talking about maybe putting it up here and, like, I know in business, when I'm dealing with businesses or matters, a quarterly report, there's like a summary, how much money came in, how much money went out, a little bit of a breakdown, it's a summary.
Well,
Are we not doing that today?
I could continue on with some details if you'd like. There are other questions?
But we have
before I
nothing to
do
put
that?
up there for anybody to see.
I-
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Trustee Kumar.
I'm suggesting, in the interest of time, and that we have this in the next available meeting in a more digestible form, with some a digestible form for the residents to be able to see too. I understand at this point it's not there yet. I will give consideration for that. If everyone on this board, everyone else is okay with waiting a meeting to get a more digestible form, I would push for that.
Yeah. Suzanne, is that a very legible document that?
It's like 18 spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it would be better to wean that down to something more easily put up there that we can see.
Yeah.
It
You know,
may-
just the basics, I think, is kind of what we're looking for.
Okay.
Okay.
I would ask, though, in the interest of questions we may ask as a board, after we view it, that you have access and easy access to these spreadsheets, so, because we will go back to them and probably ask questions. Suzanne, so for the next meeting, I will ask that also be available. At this point, it will take some time. It's not also in the ideal digestible form to provide good information to our constituents. And I hope that, we get it in that form, because I do think we have been waiting for this quarterly report. I understand that the BSNA software has just gone in. There have been many changes, and you guys have been working around the clock to update things. And so it is understandable. But at the same time, it is important for us to know where our finances are going. Absolutely.
We can have some visual presentations at that time if that's agreeable to you all.
Good. Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, just a couple of other items. I just wanted to mention that the board had put as one of my goals this year to do one-on-one meetings. I sent out an email with on the February the 6th, a spreadsheet and a request if anybody wanted to set up times. I have not heard back yet from anyone. There is a staff appreciation event coming up on March 14th, and I know several of you have RSVP'd here on the board, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Mike, for the update on the Jackson area. And then the March Committee of the Whole, we have scheduled lead lines and options, lead service lines, and options that we can pursue in terms of how we want to work with residents on replacing those and staying within the IEPA guidelines, or rules. And then just really briefly, a couple of comments to straighten out a couple of the things said about the meeting of February 10th. I said no. I interrupted Trustee Kozar. I apologized then. I apologized later in the meeting. I apologized by email. I did interrupt him by saying wrong or no. And the reason I did that, and I just want to be clear, it's not, I let my ego and my personal desire to protect the staff get the best of me, but the statement that had been made was that the packet with the RDA was received over the weekend, when the packet went out at Wednesday evening, and Cheryl Wagner worked really hard to get that out on Wednesday evening. This board asked to get the packets out sooner, and we have replied and complied with that reasonable request. The packet for February 10th meeting was sent out Wednesday, February 5th, and included the RDA with attachments, and we worked hard to do that. It went out directly from Civic Clerk. I understand that some people had some trouble receiving that. We have tried to clip those links and send them out in an email since then. My statement that I sent something out, as people have said, the road to perdition is lined with good intentions. I had tried to send it out 2 weeks earlier on January 24th, and I made a big deal about I had sent it out, but I had failed to put the clip the board group and did not put it in the email. And part of the issue was using BCC, which I have stopped doing on my emails for the weekly and monthly reports. That's how I was trained to do it as a village manager, to avoid contemporaneous discussion of agenda items, but I'm willing to change. We will continue to BCC two media outlets on the agenda because it's entirely appropriate to forward the agenda to anyone. You guys can forward it to anyone as it's a perfectly public document. We do not have the permission of the media reps at this time to share their email. So the other thing is the discovery that the email didn't go to the board was by me. And I sent it out to the board because I was obviously quite embarrassed that I had made a big deal about sending it out to you 2 weeks early, which I'd really tried to do and to work with Mark to make sure we got that in your hands to get you time, because I know Trustee Kozar in particular has spent a lot of time looking at previous RDAs, and I anticipated that desire to have that information. Now, there were edits in those 2 weeks, as Mr. Director McLaughlin, myself, the representatives of the Marquette, David Lyon from Three Leaf, and others worked to fix the document to perfect it. But the other thing is, and this is a minor detail, it was mentioned on the front page of the January 31, 2025 weekly report that the RDA would be on the agenda on February 10th. My desire was to give you plenty of time. I messed up that first email, but it was sent out on Wednesday the 6th. I understand some people weren't able to access it. I'm sorry about that. We will continue to work with our software to make sure that you guys get information in a timely fashion. And I have never tried to send stuff to only part of the board and not other parts of the board for any kind of division of the board. When I send something out to the board, I copy board or I send it out to the trustee or trustees that asked the original question. And that is, I follow the rules. I understand that you felt that when you asked for a series of a year's worth of invoices from one vendor, I didn't think everybody on the board wanted to see that, but you copied the rest of the board, and that's fine too. So that's a little bit more objective opinion or objective story about what's going on here. But I appreciate working with you guys. I know that you're trying to work for the citizens, so am I. I just hope we get back to a place of trust, because we can do a lot more together than the effort that I see put out by these men and women every day, and then to suggest that we're trying to frustrate the board. I haven't seen that from my staff, and with that, I'm done.
Okay, thanks. Okay, we'll move on to item 21A, is executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2.
President.
Yes.
Manager Harlan, I wanted to say thank you for your comments.
Okay.
I think I think we need to hear more of that from everybody here on the dais whenever we mess up, because we mess up, we're human beings. I think that's important. I wanted to clarify, because I've heard this come over and over, I don't think that it's a staff thing necessarily. It's not a full staff. I think it's a communication thing with us here. I think that it's here. So I just wanted to be clear that it's not like the whole staff. It's our communication, I think, together, which is what I'm feeling about the whole ordeal and how the frustration that I'm feeling. And I just feel like this is something that needs to be said publicly, because that's what I believe in. But I really think that where your intent was when you say that you were protecting staff, I hear you, and I thank you for sharing that. Also, check your email, because I replied to you. I have 2 times that I would like to reserve. You tell me which one.
Okay, thank you. Okay. When is that? Did you send
It was
that?
this morning, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2 C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. We have a motion for executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Kozar, do we have a second? Trustee Patrick?
I'll second that.
Okay. Clerk Renicky?
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yeah.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Casal?
Yes. Okay, so we will go into executive session. We will adjourn the board meeting out of executive session, so we will be back here on March 10th, and everyone enjoy the nice weather.
What are you trying to tell me?